Well, welcome to this week's edition of the Weather Hangout. We're back to 3 finally, and it's getting a little cold outside already, at least so far, and we're finally starting to catch up to that winter coldness so far.
We are. Good to have Diane back with us.
Yeah,
we are
it's
now
been a bit.
well into December, and we're already talking Christmas Eve's in the 10-day forecast, and if you're watching this later in the week, we're going to be making projections for the week of Christmas, and we'll be talking Christmas snow predictions in just a couple minutes, too.
Yeah, I'm excited. And speaking of Christmas, what are y'all most excited about for Christmas?
Oh, a little bit of family time.
Okay, that's
always
good.
my favorite.
I like that.
Yeah, a lot of family time, and we all have, of course, some time off work around the holidays, but we make sure to keep you updated on that forecast and spend time with family as well.
Exactly.
And that Christmas forecast, though, we're really going to be working hard on that as it comes. You know, it's kind of stressful. We have travel leading up, so of course we're going to be busy here, even with some time off and everybody kind of working different shifts. We're going to keep an eye on that because what are you guys hoping for? Hoping for a white Christmas, or are you just like, nah, I want it easy?
I'm hoping for one, but I've actually seen a white Christmas before. Yeah, and
How?
surprisingly.
Yeah.
And I remember this as a kid. It was back in either 2003 or 2004. It actually got a white Christmas in New Orleans.
Wow.
One time. The craziest thing ever. I'll have to pull it up. Yeah, I'll have to pull it up for you. But yeah, this will actually be my second if it does happen. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Not too common to get the white Christmas down south, but we get them fairly often, about 1 in 3 years up here. So it's not necessarily a guarantee, but it's certainly a little more commonplace here in the Midwest.
Exactly.
I'm just still floored that you've seen one. I would have never guessed that.
I'll have to pull up the data for you.
Yeah, if your family has pictures, you'll have to share them with us next
definitely.
week.
I remember
see if
waking
they have
up.
any.
Yeah, I remember waking up and it started as kind of like sleet, and then eventually, as we had Christmas dinner, that's the one little thing I remember. It started to snow. So
Wow.
it was insane.
Just in time.
Yeah.
Really adds to that Christmas feel, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
snow on Christmas, yeah, it just feels good. It just feels good.
Exactly.
But we're not there yet, so we'll still have another weather hangout before Christmas.
Yes,
So
yes.
you can kind of see what we're kind of thinking about, still getting into that festive feel. But there's still a lot of weather that's going on. We had, of course, making headlines, this storm that's into the plains with blizzard conditions further south. We've seen tornadoes there. You've been watching down south, of course.
Yeah, it's been a busy week so far with tornadoes down south and even the record snowfall out in California as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we even got some footage right here of that. So we'll be talking about this a little bit. And the same system could likely impact us, not necessarily as far as the snowfall, but a major system did bring heavy snow and even snow into the mountain area along the west coast. And what we got coming up? Well, will we see a white Christmas? We'll be talking about that coming up in just a few minutes. But before that, enjoy this weather fact. Well, now I do love some snow, but I don't think I could handle 20 inches of snow. That's what we saw back in just around 1900. So one thing we're watching over the next couple of years, and even lately, is how warming seasons or how each season is warming up. And of course, the fastest warming season so far throughout the last 50 years has been winter. Now that's a little bit different, more out west, where you see summer is actually the warmest, fastest warming season out west into Washington, Oregon, even out in California. But as you can tell, in the eastern portion of the United States, pretty much everyone, with just a few exceptions, have seen winter as the fastest warming season out there. So as we look at it, those temperatures are going to keep warming up. Winter warming since 1970, we've warmed up pretty much all across the eastern part of the United States, around 4 degrees of more warmer weather. So with that, just about 97% of those major cities have seen an increase in average temperature since 1970. That's due to climate change as well that we've seen over the last 50 years. So to look at it, that outlier is the winter season. Now you do see spring, summer, and fall a little bit closer with those temperatures that are a little bit on the cooler side as far as those averages coming up, but you can tell the outlier is winter as far as that seasonal warming as we go throughout the next 50 years. So look at it right here in Toledo, that average temperature just around 25 degrees during the winter season of Toledo has already come up 5 degrees since 1970. That's recorded this year, so just around 5.4 inches. So looking at that, those warmer winter drawbacks, well, that means pests could live longer. That also means less snow and ice, and that could even include a reduced water supply, and it could be even some financial trouble. So those areas, not even in Toledo, but all across for snow resorts and even the resorts, that could be some financial troubles for them, as may not see as much snow cover out there for those snow resorts, and also there'll be low fruit yield as well. So as we look at it right here in Toledo, those days above average, as we go in, well, we've seen almost 16 more days. We're just around 30 days above average, but we're just around 16 more days above average this time of year for winter, which includes just around 46 or 45 days above average temperatures. And as we look at it, like I said, we'll see more above average temperatures as we go throughout each year possibly. It'll be up and down, of course, but we'll gradually see that trend of warmer temperatures as we go throughout the winter months all across the United States and even into Northwest Ohio. Before we get into our next to see if we'll have a white Christmas, enjoy this weather fact before we get out next segment.
Of course, snow in November, we can't rule it out, but I know a lot of us right now are focusing on Christmas and, of course, travel, and even the day of, if you want to have that look outside the window of those snowflakes falling or even some snow on the ground. Well, if you are dreaming of a white Christmas, then you're going to like some of the data that I'm going to show you. So we're seeing a trend that's just climbing as far as those white Christmas chances. Right now, we're at a 60% chance of seeing a white Christmas. Historically, though, like John had mentioned earlier, it's about, well, not really in our favor. Every 1 in 3 Christmases on average is when we pick up some snowfall. So that means that it evens out to about 35%. That we do have those, of course, all those Christmases stacking up and talking then a white Christmas. Now, also, I'll give you the definition of a white Christmas because a lot of us go, okay, it's snowing or, there's some on the ground. The definition, as long as you have 1 inch of snow on the ground by Christmas morning, that means that you had a white Christmas. It also doesn't say that that snow has to fall on the 25th. So if it snows on the 23rd, the 24th, or even December 1st and it sticks around, we are able to count it. But we don't have snow on the ground. So what does it look like here in the next couple of days leading up to the 25th? So we have 11 days to go. But the data that we're finding is going to be cold, quite chilly here for the holiday. As we look at our Christmas outlook, we have purple on here. It's not just blue, but it is purple, meaning that we're looking at an 80% chance that our temperatures will be below average. So it looks like that cold Arctic air from the north that's going to come in, and we will get that gift for the holidays. So we can check that part off. We have the cold air. But what about the moisture? That's going to be the question, because as we look at the late December outlook, you're going to find that it's equal chances. We aren't really seeing a trend that's drier. We're not really seeing a trend that is wetter. So we still could have a white Christmas. That's what we're watching. But even though we have equal chances, you only need one storm. And this is what we're looking at high up in the atmosphere. This is our jet streak level. And you are going to find that our jet stream, that's going to be rolling through, and where you have those bright, vivid colors, that's where you kind of have your fastest and strongest of winds. That's also, though, where we see the potential for some of our stronger storms. So that's what we're watching, is all these colors here that'll be off towards our south. There could be enough of a component that we could be monitoring a system to be moving in just ahead of Christmas. And maybe that could do the trick as far as getting us a white Christmas this year. Of course, though, as the 25th gets a little bit closer to that 10-day forecast, you can get, of course, the first look at that on the WTOL 11 weather app. And of course, on air, we're going to be watching this forecast. But of course, if you also have family that's going to be traveling here into Northwest Ohio or Southeast Michigan as we get closer to the holiday, make sure you tell them to download the WTOL 11 weather app so then they can stay updated, not only while they're here visiting, but that app will also work when they get home. So just let your friends and family know that's an app. Not only that it'll help you on the holidays, but every day then in between. Of course, though, we have a little bit of forecasting fun coming up for the holidays, so make sure you stay with us. We'll be coming up with that here shortly.
So during our little Christmas, or at least weather fun fact, I did in fact look up if we did in fact see measurable snowfall in New Orleans. It was actually right on Christmas Day in 2004.
Okay.
Whopping half an inch.
Wow.
Oh, that wouldn't count for our standards here.
But still getting any accumulation is pretty remarkable, and I'm sure it was memorable to you, Matt.
Exactly.
Something you'll never forget, especially as a kid and getting interested in the weather meteorology, being like, I still remember that one.
Yeah, exactly. I still remember it till this day. I remember I got a Superman action figure that year, so it was
Nice.
something special to me that I always remember.
That was the
That's
best
so cool.
Christmas then.
Yeah, it really was.
Snow and superheroes. Can't beat it.
Yeah, exactly. It was a memorable Christmas, but hopefully we'll have another one this year.
Yes.
We got a little competition going on. We did this back in Halloween, at least what we did the forecast of doom, but we're calling it the Christmas Wish this year. So check
Oh, I
this
like
out.
this.
So we're gonna pretty much be seeing if we can predict what we'll see for Christmas. So I think we're gonna have at least, let's see if we can pull it up right now. Let's see for you. So
Wow.
I think I'm going with, I think I said 25 degrees and a white Christmas.
Oh, so you're saying snow.
I'm saying snow.
You're taking that
Yeah.
gamble.
Yeah, I'm taking the risk.
Is that what you want, Matt, or is that what you think the data is suggesting, or a little bit of both?
Man, you call me John. I'm gonna say that's what I want.
Because we call that wish casting, and it's a very valid
Yeah.
thing, but
There's a difference there, but he said Christmas wish, so.
that's true.
So
Put in a word with Santa, be like, 25 and
20
snow.
yeah. So
Please and thank you.
And then what was your forecast, John, for the holidays?
Well, my forecast is probably a little bit of a downer for those of you that like snow, but if you don't like snow, then I might be on your nice list with this forecast. No snow and temperatures of 38 degrees. So I know we were seeing some signs that late December is going to be colder. 38 is obviously on the milder side of things, and as far as that snow goes, Diane mentioned, will we get that moisture? Well, we're watching a potential system late next week, but that's my prediction or wish for you there, 38 and no snow. What about you?
So it looks like we're divided on the snow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to break the divide, and I'm going to say snow this year.
Yes.
So the last couple of Christmases have been green.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we're due for a white Christmas. I am going cold because our trends have been holding on to the cold air. I was afraid to go super cold,
Right.
but I didn't want to go warm, meaning the 30s.
Oh, trust me, I don't want 25 degrees at all.
Right.
That's too cold for me.
He wants the snow, but
Yeah, I
would
want
like a
snow,
little.
but not, yeah. If
Yeah.
it was warm and snow, that'd be perfect.
Yep.
So I went 29 for the temperature for the high that day. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It'll support my snow, but it won't be too chilly. But we'll see how it pans out. We have a lot of time to get some 29-degree days and snow in that forecast.
And Christmas is almost in the 10-day forecast. We've got Christmas Eve now as day 10, so stay tuned. And of course, one of us will be right and win this little contest. And
I know
we're
you
not
have the
competitive at all.
bragging rights. You won at Halloween, so you have the bragging rights.
I
so
haven't
we'll
forgotten.
see.
Don't worry.
So he's up one on us already, so we'll
It's someone else's turn.
Yes, we'll get redemption, Matt. You know, this is our
my time.
race. Yeah.
Let's
well,
do it.
We'll see on that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
All right.
exciting. Lots to look forward to.
Yep, exactly. Well, that concludes this week's edition of the Weather Hangout, and we'll see who's right in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, hope you have a great week, and thanks for tuning in. You can see the latest on WTOL 11, WTOL 11 Plus, and on our YouTube channel.
Yes. We'll see you then.